Alright everyone, we're at step number 5, the underpainting, and welcome back. So what we're going to do is do a little underpainting on our canvas. Remember the cupcake? There's our cupcake used with the grid. I used the grid to draw it in there. And what I'm going to do is do an underpainting. An underpainting for me is going to be just done in values. In other words, grays and or what the French would call a grisaille painting. And so I have some paint here on my palette, disposable palette paper. I'm just using 3 pigments. I'm using ultramarine blue, burnt umber, and titanium white. And that's all I need. I can create any range of grays or blacks from these two, and the virtue of that is more blue, cooler grays, more burnt umber, warmer grays. Okay, so I'm going to put this up here and get started on it. And we'll see. So there's my little table easel. I'm going to get on the other side here, and I've got the photograph here. So I'll be looking at that and just painting in some basic values there that will then form the basis for my palette knife painting. Alright, so I'm going to mix my burnt umber and blue together, and together they're going to make a pigment that looks black. But then I can add white to that to make cooler grays and warmer grays. Alright, I'm just going to smudge all this together to create a range of values. And start painting in my values as I see them here. So I'm going to go with the shadows here, so this a little darker there. It's a little darker in here. And a little darker in there. Again, light's coming in from this side, so that means my shadows are predominantly on the right, like so. And then as you move to the left, my values become lighter. And again, this is just to give myself an idea when I start going with my palette knife, what, you can say a guide, in other words. This is just sort of a guide. You can call it that. There we go. A bit of light values up in here. Anyway, and here, and in here, and on the cupcake. Now the cupcake paper itself is a little bit darker in general. Some darker values on the right. Again, burnt umber and blue. Put them together, they can be black, but adding the white creates a whole range of grays. Alright, just to give myself a general idea of what I want to do here. Alright, and then on the plate itself, we have some darker values here because the plate has a little rim on it that kind of curves up. And then there's a shadow coming out from the cupcake over here. Curves up, again because the surface of the plate curves up. Now the background is a darker green in my photograph, but I don't have to put that in. I think really what I want to do is just describe the lights and values on the cupcake. I don't need to put that background in because that's just going to be pretty much one flat color. There we go. Put shadow in there. Now, you can do this with acrylic paint as well as oils. I like to do it in oils most of the time. And when you mix your colors like your burnt umber and blue together, they dry relatively quickly. It doesn't take a long time for them to really dry. The next day they're dry. I say dry, I should mean oxidize or say oxidize. They oxidize pretty quickly. And the next day you can actually start working on it. So there we go, there's my cupcake. The background, I can think about that now. I want to make it darker perhaps than the cupcake itself, because I want the cupcake to be in front. Remember, dark recedes and light comes forward. So I may use a darker green in the background here to kind of contrast with the cupcake itself. so the cupcake comes forward in the plate. And of course there's a table here that I have all this on, and that comes in right about here. Alright, it's going to be my table. Alright, but you can see where this is going. Alright, so there you go. Now, I'm not going to do a whole lot with the underpainting, and sometimes I'll even skip this, though I do find it helpful, particularly when it's a more complex subject matter, you know. So, alright, so there's that. And next, we're going to get into doing the actual working with the oil and putting it in there. You know, again, I can keep going with this and spend another half hour on it, but I just want to give you the basics, you know, in terms of it doesn't have to be a complete description, but enough that it gives you the foundation. Because when you start pushing a lot of paint around with your palette knife, you want to give yourself a feel for where you're going with that, because making corrections when you have a lot more paint on the canvas can be a little more challenging. And we have a nice little shadow under here. So I'll make that a little darker. Right? And then it's a little lighter around here. Again, keeping it loose, not getting real fussy, you know. Alright? So there we go. Alright, so that's it for the moment. And next we're going to do some oil painting.